Hello Cancer, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of March 5th through 11th. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything that you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments down below, okay? This is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. I ask you to connect directly with each card and to use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I'm providing. Okay. Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Look at that. We've got a moon card. That's interesting. That's interesting. Let's see how that plays out with our Dove and Serpent spread. We're going to lay out the rest of our cards here, and then we'll take a look around and see what is going on. All right, we're going to do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. And this is the card. We're not going to look at this until the very end. We're going to leave that right here. And hopefully that will tie the reading together and, give us the confirmation we're looking for at the very end. So be sure to stick around. Okay, now we've got some fire, some earth, some air and water, some more fire, and a major. We've got a major over here. We've got some fire and some water. So pretty good balance of cards. Okay, pretty good balance of cards here. We've got this moon energy. This is some really watery kind of Piscean energy for you. And I think, as a Cancer, this is kind of our tendency or our potential to get kind of lost in the muck, I think that when we really start feeling something very deeply, we have a tendency to get lost in that feeling, It's almost like we're so much involved, so kind of immersed in this water that it's difficult to pull ourselves back out of it. So I wonder if this week you are kind of stuck in a certain emotional state, okay? I don't know that it's a particularly good emotional state. We see some really good water energy here around us. But I think that there's some uncertainty going on with you, okay? I think that despite the kind of what seems like a really lovely environment, we're still in this kind of darkness, right? And this moon card, it's kind of like a nightmare landscape. It's like a dark night of the soul. It's like a depression, a melancholy. Doesn't seem like there's much of a reason for it, right? It doesn't seem like there is a lot of justification for it almost, right? It seems like it's kind of not fitting into the context of these other cards, okay? So it feels out of place to me. But I think you are the type of person that is subject to these moods, okay? Now, I think that can apply to most people, particularly us Cancers, where we have a tendency to get into these dark moods. There's not always a good reason for it. It's just something that we go through and then we come out of it. And that's kind of the great thing about this moon card, is that the sun is always down there pushing its way up, right? And what's pushing up that sun is that scarab beetle. Now, the scarab is all about transformation, about becoming, about renewal and rebirth and, kind of the evolution, right? The resurrection, kind of. So I feel like it really is through these dark nights, these little depressions, these maybe some valleys that we get into. It's through those experiences and then the rising of the sun, the coming out of those experiences that are fostering growth in us. Like every time we go through one of these cycles, we are just more in tune with ourselves. We are just that much more evolved. We just made a little bit more progress on our path, right? And honestly, I don't know why that is. I don't know why it's of our nature to go down into these really dark depths in order to find a piece of ourselves and bring it back up to the surface, right? I don't know why that is. And we see the Hanged Man here as well. So that's a little bit more of the same. I think the Hanged Man is a little bit different than this Moon card, because this Moon card is a card that's just a little bit scary. This is a little bit unknown. This is a little bit of that kind of nightmare landscape where all of our biggest fears are kind of coming out, you know. We're kind of experiencing doubt, confusion. It could be that literally we're worried about all of our biggest fears, you know. It could be that there is a tremendous amount of pressure or responsibility that's kind of on your shoulders right now. And I feel as if you are kind of dealing with it in an unconscious way. You know, maybe through dreams, maybe through scrying or astral work. I feel like you're someone who's very much in your imagination in a more or less conscious / unconscious way, like kind of right on the threshold. So that's why I say dreams or, you know, astral work or scrying, something like that. Okay. I think that's how you are processing these fears and confronting these things that are kind of, you know, the dark kind of monsters that are within you, right? These fears, these worries. Maybe we personify them or objectify them as, you know, monsters or, you know, that sort of thing. And then we can confront them that way, you know. So it's like the unconscious fears we're dealing with in a sort of semi-conscious way. I think you're someone that does that. I think that's true for a lot of cancers. I think that it's not a matter of consciously or intellectually talking about these fears, these really unconscious kind of fears that are coming to the surface. It's more about dealing with them within ourselves in this, you know, this realm of imagination or this astral realm, this more psychic spiritual realm. Okay. So I feel like you're someone with an intense imagination. You're probably somebody who's very creative. I think you do a lot of magical kind of work in terms of dream work or the astral scrying kind of stuff. Okay, I think you're very skilled in that, and it might be something that you don't even know that you do it, or you don't know what you would call it, but it's almost like a lucid dreaming kind of thing. And it could be that you've always kind of had that ability, you know. And it seems to me, just from this card being here right in the middle, that this is how you're dealing with a lot of these kind of unconscious fears and worries and concerns and stuff. Okay. Now, the card that actually represents our fears and worries and concerns is a different card altogether. I mean, we have over there the Six of Cups. So I think consciously, you're not worried about anything. You're not afraid of anything, right? I think things in your life are going very well right now. And I think maybe the reason why they're going so well consciously is because in this unconscious or semi-conscious kind of way, you're dealing with all of your darkness, all of your fears, right? So that it doesn't have to be expressed in your conscious kind of external life, your daily life, right? The recent past, Three of Discs, excuse me, I think a lot of what's kind of triggering this in you, and I don't like to use the word triggering, but what is prompting some of this moon energy is, I think, some changes in your work environment or in your business, in your career life. I think that there has recently been an increase in either your work or your responsibilities or the things that you have to do every day, but in a good way. You know, I think that you are taking on more tasks, more responsibilities, but you're being paid for it. You know what I mean? Your income is growing proportionally to the amount of effort that you're putting in. Okay, so I think there's a lot of changes here as far as finances, money, as far as your work, your career, your livelihood, you know. I think that there's just a lot more business going on in your life, a lot more business. So you have to be focused mentally. You have to be here, present, right now. You have to take care of things, you know. This is the work that you do, the kind of the money that you get for the work, right? This is the exchange of goods and services for the payment that we receive, right? So I think there's a lot more of that going on, a lot more transactions, a lot more just business things happening. And it's kind of your responsibility, right? You've got the weight of it on your shoulders, okay? So it really is going to require you to be sharp and attentive, prompt, very active, very organized. And that's what we see with this court card right here in the middle. This is the Knight of Swords. And this is you. We see this air energy with this fire component, right? The fiery aspect of the air energy, right? We see the fire here at the top and the bottom, above and below this moon and this Knight of Swords. So you're taking this fiery energy and you are applying it to this organization, to this will, to this intensity, this planning, this very structured, business-like, very professional kind of thing. I don't know what kind of work you do. There's no real indication here of the work that you do. But I feel like that's where all of your energy is going. All of your fiery energy. You know, your confidence, your will, your determination, your focus, right? All of your attention is going into the transactions, the business, the planning, the operations, all of these responsibilities that take a lot of mental fortitude, a lot of mental energy, right? A lot of communication, a lot of talking, a lot of writing, a lot of whatever. And I think a lot of it's on you. Excuse me. I think that you handle this well. I think you thrive on this kind of responsibility. And I'll tell you why. Because of this fire that we see at the top and the bottom of the Path of the Dove. First one is the Six of Wands here. This is representing your the real pride that you take in doing this work, right? It's the real kind of almost the joy that you have in this. And it has a strange component here because I feel like some of this, whatever the work is that you're doing, whatever like path that you're on, whatever's got you so damn busy, was kind of a weird thing, right? I feel like it was just something that like you didn't plan for it, really. You never thought it would be this way, but it's just like in a very short period of time, maybe 3 months ago, certain things just happened all in a row, all in the perfect order, and now you're in this crazy spot and you've got a lot to deal with, right? Could be something that was kind of thrust upon you. It kind of, it wasn't something that you've been building for your whole life, right? Something that just kind of recently, it all started rolling. It all just kind of snowballed. And now you've got this Three of Discs, this real machine that you've got to maintain now. So there's some kind of weirdness here, right? There's some kind of fluke, some kind of coincidence, some kind of strangeness, right? But it's a strangeness that's like everything happened in such a weird order that it's just like, there's no way things could have been that harmonious. You know what I mean? Like everything just happened at the perfect time and you're just like, there's no way that could be real, right? Kind of that kind of vibe. But that's giving you a lot of confidence. And I think that's taking a lot of your conscious energy. And that's why we see this Moon card in the middle, because that's what's going on within you. I think that you are unconsciously battling these fears, these worries, these concerns, all sorts of things, right? A fear of failure or of being inadequate or of that this is all going to just kind of blow up and fail or, whatever the case is, all of these things, I think, anytime that we have any kind of success or progress in our business, in our financial life, our work life, our career, I think, at least for Cancers, there's always a little part that's just like, I don't deserve this. It's almost like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, And I think this is kind of something unconsciously. Again, I think you're working on this on a semi-conscious level, dreams, astral stuff, scrying, magical work, meditative work, that sort of thing. Okay? Because consciously in your daily life, there's a lot for you to do. And you're enjoying it. You're really having a good time doing this, right? Especially with the three of discs here, I feel like this is so, it feels so good to you because it's like you feel like you've made it, or that you've been accepted, kind of, right? I don't know if this is like, it feels to me like whatever you're doing is now you've kind of you've proved yourself, right? Or you've made it to a certain level where now you're kind of included in this group, right? I wonder if when you were a kid or in young adulthood or something, if there was an issue of kind of fitting in, you know? There was maybe, the little cliques and groups in school or whatever, like groups of friends and stuff, that you never felt like you really fit into them, or it felt like you were never really accepted into those groups, like, and just with your peers, that you never really were quite part of that peer group. I feel like that's kind of part of this now. I feel like that component is here for you, that you feel now that you've made it. You feel now that you're maybe like, okay, now I'm a full adult. Now I feel like I belong in this group of, successful people or whatever. And I don't know that this is something that's like financial, or like really is like monetary success. I really hope it is, but there's no indication of that. We don't have a lot of earth cards here. Okay, the earth card that we do have is this 3 of discs. This might be an earth card. That mystery card might be some earth. But I don't think the point isn't the financial success here, which I think is part of it, because we see a lot of this water. We see a lot of water and fire, a lot of strength, right? A lot of joy and success, a lot of ease. So I think that it does have a financial component, right? I think you are successful financially. But that's not the point. The point, I think, is this confidence that you have and this feeling like now you belong, right? Almost like now you really belong to the world, right? Because I feel that there's always been this kind of, this outsider vibe. Does that make sense? Anyway, so the 6 of Wands there, I feel like it's a real confidence, a real success. You really are enjoying what you're doing, and it kind of gives you this feeling of grandeur. The more that you do this work, the more confident you feel, the more you're just like, you want to take care of everybody. It's just like you have this energy where you want to take everybody out to dinner. It's that kind of feeling of grandeur and generosity. I don't think it's been easy. I think with this 5 of Wands down here at the bottom, I think you've struggled for a long time. I think that probably goes back to that 3 of discs we were talking about, childhood, young adulthood, feeling like you're kind of alien to the group, or not really fitting in, not being accepted by your peers in a way. So I feel like you've always kind of struggled with that. And I kind of feel like the people in your life that were supposed to support you, the people that I think traditionally we expect to be there for us and to support us and to encourage us, weren't quite there for you in that way, right? Maybe family, friends, whatever. I don't feel like you really got the support or the encouragement that you felt like should have been there. So it is kind of like you had something to prove. And it kind of feels to me like you have proved it. You are proving it. Primarily to yourself, I think. But it's also nice to be able to show everyone else, too, kind of what you've achieved or what you're in the progress of doing. I think that's something that you keep in check. We've got a 3, which is very active. We got the 6, which is balanced and kind of yielding. And we got this 5, which is also active, right? So I think that your 6 of Wands is doing a really good job of keeping this kind of confidence, this grandeur, this generosity, from getting out of hand, from becoming, arrogance or something. Keeping you humble a little bit. It's reminding you that, yes, you did have to fight, that you've earned the success that you have. And I think you have proved to yourself and to the world what you're capable of, right? I still feel this darkness is going on underneath the surface. There's this little bit of, it's like on the surface, we're all business and we're all confidence and fire and grandeur. But inside, we're still kind of a little bit afraid, a little bit, a little bit not too happy about things. We're still just kind of cautious, maybe, or worried, fearful that it's all going to be taken away or that it's not real, right? So I think that's kind of what you're battling underneath it all. If you look at the overhead camera, you see the 3, the 6, the 5, and then the 2 in the future. With this air energy, this Knight of Swords here, and then this Moon card is just underneath everything, right? All this surface activity is here. This Moon card's underneath it all, right? And I think that's the focus. We need to continue to be in touch with our inner selves, our true selves, what's down really deep beneath the surface in us, right? So that it doesn't start to kind of force itself to the surface to make itself known. If you ignore this Moon card too much, those forces are going to manifest in ways that we don't want them to, right? So we've got to we've got to go down and feed the crocodiles ourselves so that they don't come up onto the land and start messing with the rest of our lives here. You know what I mean? In the immediate future, wonderful 2 of Cups. Now, this card is ruled by Venus in Cancer. So this really is a tremendous love and like almost this kind of romantic feeling in you, right? I wonder if you are kind of a romantic in general, right? And I think that you view your life and your path and your past and your history, your progress as a kind of, as a romance, as like a divine romance, right? There's some tragedy in there, but then there's also this love and this, this accomplishment, right? It feels kind of like a romantic thing. Right. And I'm not just talking about like a sexual relationship or a romantic relationship with one particular, person or something. I just mean in the general kind of sense. The genre of your life seems to be kind of romantic, And it feels that way, especially with this Moon card beneath the surface there, There's a lot going on within you. But I feel like in the immediate future, it is really going to be a joyous, joyous time. I think that you have a lot of love around you. I think that you are going to be focused on love and affection and nurturing and support and union and bonding with people, with your person, if you're in a relationship. Use all of this activity, this surface activity, to strengthen this relationship with this person. Now, this person could be, like I said, could be your lover, your partner, your spouse, could be your family members, could be, your children, it could be your parents, your close friends. This could be yourself. It could be your own spirit guides, guardian angel, God, goddess, deity, your own spirit, I think it's all of these things. But I think that the message here is that you're going to be provided the opportunity to really strengthen your bonds of love through all of this surface level energy. And the more we deal with this Moon card beneath everything, the less chance that Moon card's going to come and sabotage our relationships. Okay? Like we said, there's not a lot of air energy here. There's this air that we see right here at the beginning, and I think that this is very important air energy. This is, the Knight of Swords here is right above this Moon card. It's kind of covering it. It's almost like the conscious activity is trying to ignore that Moon energy, that unconscious stuff. We need to create a dialogue between these two, right? These two need to have a conversation as often as possible. And I think that's what you're doing. I think that's why that card is here. And I think it's through this dialogue, through being open and communicating with yourself, with your kind of your demons, and with the people in your life, being open and honest. And I think that you're going to be strengthening this bond of love. Now, if you're not in a relationship now, you don't have many of these these are coming. These are in the immediate future. So it's like the focus really is going to be on this union of love. It needs to be with yourself and with these, I don't want to call them demons, but with this darkness in you. You kind of have to be compassionate, be loving with yourself in order to, continually make this sun rise to illumine this darkness, So it seems like it's an internal and an external kind of opportunity for this love bond, for this Two of Cups. This is a really beautiful card. We're using that now to transition over the path of the Serpent. And again, I want to say, if there's anything that I can pray over, anything I can meditate upon, any kind of positive energy that I can send your way, let me know in the comments, okay? So we see down here general energy, this Queen of Wands here. This is kind of like your energy inside out, because the Cancer energy is the fire of water, right? This is the water of fire. So it's kind of like you've got to do this inner exploration just as much as you need to focus your attention on the external world, whatever this business is that you've got going on, right? Whatever this activity is in your life. You've got to focus on that, but you also have to kind of go inside out and focus on yourself and really get to know this darkness in you and come to terms with it, process it, integrate it, whatever terms you want to use. I think that's very important for your own kind of emotional, mental balance, the equilibrium, right? I wonder if this is going to be the Art or Temperance card, that mystery card. Because I feel like there's a need for you to not ignore this. The more we get through this reading, I feel like we're kind of losing touch with this Moon card. It's covered up by all these other cards. We haven't really talked about it in a few minutes. I feel like it's kind of getting further into the distance, kind of out of sight, out of mind. But we got to bring it back to the surface. We have to deal with those things, right? And the environment feels kind of like this Hanged Man. I think that you're someone who naturally will sacrifice themselves for the good of the cause, right? For the good of the family, for the benefit of others. So it's kind of a deprioritizing of yourself. And that, I think, is something that you need to explore. I think that's part of this Moon energy, is why we feel that we always have to be kind of second place or third place or last even in the list of priorities. I think this is also talking about your greatest asset, and this is your ability to really dive down deep into yourself. You really can immerse yourself in this water energy. Now, this Moon card rules the sign of Pisces, and that is a water sign. So this water, it's kind of as if this Hanged Man is diving down really deep into this unconscious water and looking to meet those fish, right? Pisces fish. To really confront those entities, those personifications, right? Confront those elements that are down in the unconscious. So this is kind of the spiritual path that you're on. We have all of this practical, conscious, external work that we're talking about. The path of the dove here really is tremendous. Whatever you've got going on in your life, you're going to have just great love, success. You're going to be real busy, but it's going to be a success. It's going to be a good time. You're accomplishing a lot. We have to kind of go inside out a little bit, or outside in, and do the spiritual work too. Okay? I think maybe you have put your spiritual work on hold a little bit in the past. I think right now you're starting to get back into it. But I feel like it's something that's taken a back seat recently. And now we're changing that, right? We're going outside in. Okay. So you're really starting to immerse yourself in that spiritual work again. And I think what we're trying to do is find a way to integrate this external work, this business kind of life work, and the spiritual work, right? They don't have to be separate, right? I don't think they're meant to be separate. That's my personal opinion. So the next card then is the real ease of your circumstances. 6 of Cups, beautiful, easy, just not a care in the world. Perfect harmony, beauty, and balance, right? Everything's joy. Everything is pleasure. And not just like, not mundane pleasures, but like a real satisfaction, a real feeling as if you can breathe now. Like your life is good. Things are flowing. Things are balanced. Things are in harmony. Things are happening. And it's just like the soundtrack, the music in your head, the soundtrack of your life is now just a really like beautiful choir or something just so relaxing, so easy, so beautiful, easy listening, right? It's not the aggressive kind of danger, heavy metal kind of music. Now it's just a more easy listening, right? I'm not talking about musical preferences, all right? I think you're probably someone that likes all different kinds of music, right? I think that you are someone who kind of thinks of the soundtrack of your life, right? Different periods of time for you have different soundtracks that go with it, okay? Maybe there was a country phase. Maybe there was a classical phase. Maybe there was a romantic phase, right? Pop music phase. I think now you're in this kind of easy listening phase where you're doing all this really, really busy work. You have to focus on it. You really have to be, almost aggressive and, really assertive, really take control, be organized, all this good stuff over here on the path of the dove. But what you're creating, what you're working towards is this real harmony, this real easy, smooth rhythm and flow, right? And I think that the more we can integrate this moon card and this spiritual work and combine it into one, we're kind of doing a fusion here. We're kind of doing some fusion music here for our soundtrack. And I think it's going to create just a wonderful symphony of beauty and pleasure and harmony. But again, not just the mundane pleasures, but like a real spiritual satisfaction. But this card's in the position of your fears, worries, and concerns, right? I think you're kind of worried about this. You're worried about accepting this easy listening vibe, right? You're worried about accepting this and not being vigilant against this either being an illusion or being taken away or being not what you thought it was. So there's kind of this reluctance to ease into this because this looks really good. There's no way life can be this good or this easy or this pleasurable or have this kind of harmony. So there's a little bit of disbelief here. I think that's also the moon card. You're worried that this is really an illusion, a mirage, right? And I think that's the fear to overcome. That's something that you're creating this kind of easy environment, this smooth, this harmony. You've got to at least try it out, right? Allow yourself to enjoy this, at least for a moment, just so you can maybe get a sense of its efficacy, a sense of its realness, really, right? Final card on the path of the serpent is the 10 of wands here. This is a card that it's kind of showing the way that the separation of the mundane and the spiritual side of things, right? The more that we push this moon card down beneath the surface and the more we try to avoid kind of integrating that, it's going to cause a lot of undue wear and tear on your vehicle, I think if your tires are out of balance, they're going to wear out a lot sooner, okay? So the lack of balance, the lack of harmony, the lack of integration and the equilibrium, the blending of the spiritual and mundane lives, and making it one holistic experience is really starting to drain some of this vital energy. We see the fire energy over here on the path of the dove where it's not infinite, right? I mean, we do have kind of a mileage limit on our physical vehicles. I think that you are running the risk of really wearing yourself out. And I think part of the wear and tear is being reluctant to kind of enter into this ease, right? It's almost like you've got to learn to relax a little bit, you know? You have all of this stuff going on. It's very, very active life that you're leading now, right? Maybe mostly like intellectually or, you know, with time management kind of thing. You've got to find those moments to just kind of sit in your chair and put your headphones on and listen to that music, right? You can't go pedal to the metal all day, all night. You know, you're kind of, this is the card that's kind of burning the candle at both ends. It's going to wear out. So you've got to take advantage of this music, of this ease, of the circumstances that you're building, that you're creating for your life. I think you really need that self-care, that kind of downtime, that relaxation time. And, you know, I think a lot of this, the talk about balance is really trying to become part of that harmony, become part of that music, right? It's not enough to just kind of listen to the music and, you know, sit and relax for 5 minutes, listen to some music, and then go run another marathon. We've got to become the music. We've got to be part of it, you know. The mystery card. I said maybe the temperance card. I'm kind of thinking now it's going to be something to show a more integrated or holistic life. It's going to be you as this music, all right? So what we could see here is maybe another 6. We already have the 6 of Wands. We already have the 6 of Cups. So maybe not a 6. Maybe this is going to be just the World card. The final state, the final like perfect picture of what we need. The way it's all, the way it all comes together, right? The puzzle finally is completed. Now we see the whole picture. Nothing's missing. Nothing's being pushed beneath the surface. Everything is part of it, and we are that puzzle, right? We are that. So I think World or Universe card right here. Yeah, we've got the World or Universe card. So this is really you on the dance floor. You are the music. You are living this holistic, this integrated, balanced existence. You know, it's nothing that is out of place. You are you're creating the music. You are the music, and you are enjoying the music at the same time. You know. And I think this is the perfect card for like the final state of things that we're looking for. This is what we're hoping to achieve, right? This is what we're trying to achieve. And I think you're well on the path to doing that. I think you're kind of going outside in, and you're trying to incorporate this Moon card and integrate all of these things and really explore this and, you know, take the time to do that and, you know, make room for your spiritual life in your physical life, your daily life, you know. So I think this is a really wonderful card, and this is again just kind of showing the puzzle is completed now. We are the puzzle. We've put the puzzle together, you know, and it's an amazing thing. And this is what you're striving for, and this is what you're going to achieve. And I think that's really magical. I think that's the most that we can ever hope for, is to just really have the most kind of complete and holistic existence that we can. You know, where we can really hear the music and be the music. And I think that's what we've got. And I think this is that state of just absolute like perfection in your life. You know. And I know in a practical way we can never achieve perfection. There's always going to be some things that are a little out of balance, but this is what we're striving for. You know, and with all the 6s that we have here, the 6 of Wands, 6 of Cups, it's really about that beauty and harmony and balance, that music, you know. Anyway, we're going to do a quick extended. If you want to stick around, click on the link that's right up here. You can have access to all of the extended readings for every weekly and the monthlies too. This was your weekly tarot reading for March 5th through 11th on Dove and Serpent Tarot.